Come on. Come on. Okay, one of them's live. And both of them's live. It started itself that time. It hasn't done that in the past. Anyway, hi guys. Pardon me. We appear to be live and in color. Anyone here old enough to remember when television shows used to boast in color? Pardon me. These are all of my characters since the multiplayer version of the game came out, which I think was, like 5 months ago. If I go to offline, these are my characters from before multiplayer. This is the one that I'm currently working on. Good evening, Big Black Nothing. Is the stream broken? It shouldn't be. No, it's working. If you can you hear me? It is working on both YouTube and Twitch for me. Canucket. I'm double checking, and yeah, it's working on both locations just fine. Also, can you hear me? Pardon me. Yeah, it's working in both locations as far as I can tell. Okay. So this is the character that I've been working on, I guess, since just yesterday. And it's probably going to be my starter build for the new league. It's not one of my own construction. New league. Season. Okay, cycle, they're called in this game. We've got 3 different flavors. We've got leagues, seasons, and cycles. Regardless, the first real cycle starts on Wednesday with the game launch. While I'm here, let's go ahead and let's see. New tune, who this? This is my Void Knight Auto Bomber. Yes, that's a thing. Let's see. I'm gonna use a couple of pets and a cloak because those are the cosmetics I've got. Or actually, it's a traveler's backpack. That's all the cosmetics I've got. I get more on Wednesday when the game actually launches. Here you can see all of his stats and such. You'll note, even though he's only level 45, I have managed to get all of his resistances up to the cap. Yay! His gear, I'm only using one unique. The rest of it is just regular dropped rare items. And the build basically comes together around level 35 or 38 with a little tuning. Basically, it's an auto-casting build. 2 of the skills recast automatically using a trick which I will show you in a minute. And other than that, I mostly just move around and everything falls over dead. The only sort of manually triggered things I do are a movement skill and then my right mouse click for smite. So, I will go to the Divine Era. Time travel is a part of this game. Generally, I loathe time travel as a mechanic for movies, games, anything. They don't make too much out of it here in Last Epoch. So I will move to Farwood because Nearwood isn't far enough. Family member visits missions start. Aha! No time soon, hopefully. So, I use what is referred to as the numpad trick, which is pretty common in a lot of ARPGs. They don't inherently allow for autocasting, but if you set one of the numpad keys to also activate the skill button, so for instance the R key here, and you have numpad on, and you hit the button and then take numpad off and let it up, it's now autocasting this, which means I'll always have these purple bubbles around me in various numbers. And I have 2 autocast skills here, and that's the other one. So I'll have a big purple ball that I'm running around in and a bunch of little purple balls bouncing around me. And they do various things. Mostly they hit things and hurt them. Like that. And so it's a very simple, straightforward build, in that basically all you do is you move through things and they fall over dead. I've got good defenses up as well. The other thing I can do is I can dash into things, and under a fair number of circumstances I will automatically cast a bunch of smites to hit everything in the area. And the other thing I do, if I run into a mob that doesn't immediately die, I cast smite manually. The big purple beams from on high is smite. And I am using this as my starting build for Wednesday for a few reasons. First, it doesn't require any unique items to run effectively. At the very, very, very end game, it has a couple of things that will increase its power massively, but they're certainly not needed for leveling. Also, it's relatively straightforward and easy to use, even for an old man like me, in that it doesn't have an involved rotation. And also, because I enjoy playing a lot of alts, if smite hurt, smite hit hurt. Smite hit hard, smite hurt. Mind you, this smite has been converted from being, I think, flame damage to void damage. All of my skills are doing void damage. So that means everything I do is scaling off of void damage. Hi, Grail. I'm just going to go through the dialogue stuff because I've seen it so many times and it's really not that interesting. I have just leveled up. Level 46. The last thing is, because I like playing lots of alts, as anyone who's ever played an MMO with me will attest, I like playing lots of alts. And they've added a mechanic for the game launch on Wednesday, where you earn rep with one of 2 different factions, and you gain certain advantages from the rep. And the advantages you get are significant, and they are account-wide throughout the entire cycle or league or season. And so by getting that pumped up as high as I can quickly, that will open up those special bonuses to be available for my alts. And so that is one of my motivations anyway for this. Thing should get me through comfortably into the end game. We'll find out. I will start doing end game stuff shortly. Even though I'm like, I don't know, maybe halfway done with the storyline stuff. My healing options. There's a skill I will be getting at a few more levels to actually get access to it. And then at level 50, it will begin getting skilled up. One of the big sales points, or points of interest for this, is every skill has a full spec tree. And that allows you to build your build in a number of very different ways. There's a lot of those skills will change the fundamental way the skill works. For instance, the purple balls that are rotating around me by default That's not their behavior. And by default, they throw your enemies into the future. Briefly. But that's not the way this is built. So the healing option will become available later, and also I have, as healing already, I have a good amount of leech. So the damage I am doing is healing me. Passively. I think right now I'm like 1% of all void damage I do is getting leeched, but that's not the only thing that's leeching. I have a number of different things that are leeching health, making me stronger. And now, a boss. Think of him as a really angry ant. A really big, angry ant. Treebeard on steroids. Move away, let him get off his attacks. I charge. I get a free kabooming. And we got him. Yeah, leeches. Mostly it's leech. Now, leech obviously can't protect you from one-shots and the like. There's an endgame mechanic that helps protect you against being one-shotted. Hey, Nod Knox, how you doing? Hi, Grail.
Would you, but why? I'll give you one back. Tell me more of this immortal emperor on our journey.
Good evening.
I cannot do that. I cannot do
that.
I cannot do that.
I understand. Lurk away, my friend.
I cannot do that.
Now, you'll hear me keep saying, I cannot do that. I cannot do that. And what I cannot do is cast those auto-casting abilities.
I cannot do that.
So I'm going to turn them both off. So you don't have to listen to my character say, I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. Does this bother you? Does this bug you?
All that is left is to take the lance and bless it.
And for every class, there is the starter class. This is Sentinel. There's 5 in the game. And for each class, there are 3 masteries that you can choose from. One of them will be your primary, and you'll get an immediate ability that way. And so we're Sentinel. We spend 20 points. That opens up Void Knight, which is our primary. And we're all the way out here on this tree. We're now putting points into Paladin. But because we didn't choose Paladin, we cannot go past the chain here no matter how many points we put in. Defaults to loop back dialogue option. Yeah. Not all the dialogue with the characters is not the mechanic they have in place, particularly for dealing with merchants, is not good. It's actually clumsy as hell. So I've put 34 points into Void Knight. What we want to do is we want to open up Sigils of Hope, which is a Paladin ability. But we have to spend 15 points in the Paladin tree to do that. So I'm going to put 8 here and 7 here. And that'll get me to 15, and that'll open up Sigils of Hope, which will be the last skill we need. There we go. Now, one of the nice things is all of these little things like the healing shard and the glyphs, shards and glyphs and the like, those are crafting items. And they go into your inventory until you press this button, at which point they're stored away safely and you don't have to worry about them anymore. Until you want to use them, of course. Items are relatively straightforward. From 0 to 4 affixes. At most 2 prefixes and 2 suffixes. There's some fiddling you can do done to change that up. They're relatively straightforward. This one is Vitality, which increases your health and some of your resists. Increased Health, which increases your health. And fire resistance, which is resistance to fire. All pretty straightforward, I would think. So,
Yes.
sell. But selling isn't the only thing you can do. For instance, this has a unusual affix, and I'll show you what we can do with that. Now, crafting and affixes are related here. So items here, you can see these. Most of these are going to have 4 affixes. This is a unique item, part of a set, and it'll have more. But for instance, this has one that's relatively uncommon, the 41 armor, 14 reduced bonus damage taken from critical strikes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deconstruct it by using a rune of shattering, and it will give me some of these crafting shards back out, and those can be used to then add these skills or increase them on other items. So we'll shatter it. Theoretically, we could get as many as 9 total shards out. 2 for the tier 2 vitality, 5 for this, 2 for that. But we got just 2 of the vitality shards. That's a disappointing result. And crafting, well, let's see if we're level this now where we can... No, we've got no forging potential left on that. Up at the top here has forging potential 0. That means you can't craft on it anymore. Your crafting is done, sir. Good day. Let's see. I think we're fine on that. That one even has crafting left over. This one has +1 to level of smite, so that means that all those smites we're hitting things with, we have an extra point to spend in that tree. We want more cast speed. We need to be level 51 to get this up to tier 5. Tier 5 is the highest it can be. Later on, you can get them as tier 6 and tier 7, but those have to drop. You can't craft above tier 5.
I see.
I have to return to Heorot, who's a god. Oh, first, from 14 to 15 in Smite. Give me a sec. As I said, I am not using my own build here. I'm using somebody else's build. That is 14. We're just going to pour points. Oh, no, just pour 3 points in. Okay, that's fine. Point here, this increases the base crit chance, but lowers the cast speed. And also 13 to 14 in Anomaly. 13 is there. 14 is there. There's more health leech. So the health leech from this node with 2 points in it is 1%, but all my damage is void damage, and it's doubled for void damage, which means 2% of all the damage I'm doing, I leech as health. So this is a simple, straightforward build. It doesn't really get going until about 35 or so, when you can start auto-casting the Devouring Orb in particular. The leveling guide I'm following had a good suggestion for leveling using the Throwing Hammer, which worked great. You can also do it, because this is a Void Knight, you can also do it with Warpath, which is a spin to win type build. Now, once again, we have to start our autocasting on the 2 autocasting abilities, and we will then just sprint through and murder things. We have to go talk to a dying god. It's, you know, he's had a rough go. Here we have a shrine. This will give us a 100% critical strike chance for like 30 seconds. Everything we do will crit. If things were dying quickly before, they're going to die. I'm going to hit them so hard they're going to go back in time and die earlier. That doesn't actually happen. Oh, you little sneak. He came back from the dead. They do that sometimes. And that's a good example there. I did the charge and fired off a whole shitload of smites at the same time. So, yeah, this build is just very strong, straightforward. And it's what I'm going to be playing on Wednesday for the launch of the game. "9 a.m. Pacific, we immediately begin to presumably melt the servers so that they can descend all the way to the center of the Earth."
I see you have returned with the lamp.
Yeah, I'm back with the Lions, blah, 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 blah.
Blessing.
Yeah, thank you. He gave me his blessing.
Even the gods cannot observe what fate intends for us. Do not let it bind you.
Okay, I won't let it bind me.
Farewell.
Bye, guy. And he has a little lay down.
We have hero. We must your from the wish. Forgive me. Let's end our conversation there.
Yes, let's end our conversation there. All right, that opened the last 3 idols slots. Look, we got more crafting bits. Let's just put them away. Yeah, compare that to, I don't know, Diablo 4. A lot of the basic sort of comparisons to Diablo 4, D4 suffers on. There's an enormous amount of D4 bad sentiment in the ARPG world these days, most of it earned. But D4 does a couple of things well. The story is quite good through the base game, and it's a very pretty game. We pretty much hit the high points right there. So, next, we do have more story stuff here. We're only about, I guess, maybe 60% through with the story. As next up, we head off to, let's see. I can't remember exactly where we go. I know we end up going here. Do we go back to the Ancient Era? I don't think so. This is the Ancient Era. We have the Divine Era, the Imperial Era, and the Ruined Era. These are the time locations, and the maps are basically the same. So we have here the ruined city of Welrun, and here is the city of Welrun, and the living city of Welrun. And the Imperial Era, the Empire was an empire of the undead. Turns out that's not necessarily great for the living. We're going to the end of time. Where I'm going to show you the endgame. Despite the fact that the endgame theoretically doesn't start until about level 58, you can actually access it at about level 35.
I cannot do that. I cannot do that.
Yeah, I know. I can't do
I
that.
cannot do that.
I'll be able to do that here. We're entering the monoliths of fate, which is the primary endgame. Don't worry, I'm sure the sun is fine. So, what is the endgame? Well, this is what it looks like. We're initially here. These are sort of fragmented bits of the past where we go into and we fight and kill things and we get a reward. And over time, we'll gain stability up here at the top that will allow us a couple of specific missions and eventually to fight a boss, and that'll open up the next bit of the map. But for now, level 58. Despite the fact I'm level 46. I should get my clock cleaned. Spoiler, I won't. I have to slay both patrolling mobs. There are a couple of profane fleshes. And I don't know about you, but I really, really don't want to know what a profane flesh is. Because there's just no way that that's good for anyone involved. But this map will be completed when I track down and kill the 2 profane fleshes. There's one of them. You'll notice, because he's much higher level, he's not dying as fast as most of the rest of the stuff did. And he has a nice, unpleasant AoE. Alright, that's one down. Stand down or die. Possibly both. Level 47. Because I am low level, I'm getting good XP for this. So, I will go back to doing more of the storyline in a bit, because for my first time through in the new league cycle, season, potato, I'll need to go through it to open up the new trade mechanic. One of their nice new additions that they're bringing into the game is a really cool and smart system allowing you to choose whether you want to be in a trade league, where basically there's something similar to an auction house. We have finished off this map. And here's our reward. And our secondary reward. One of them is the Circle of Fortune, I think it's called, where basically that's solo self-found, and you have a lot of bonuses to drop percentages. You're more likely to get more items dropping, more unique items, more set items. This is very similar to a Diablo game, yeah. It is an ARPG. It's roughly between D3 or D4 and PoE in complexity. It launches on Wednesday. So I am in early access. I've been in early access for a couple of years now. I have 400 hours in the game. It is very good. And don't take my word for it. If you follow ARPGs at all, check out any of the big names for PoE streamers, or almost any of the PoE streamers. And a bunch of the D4 streamers have recently jumped onto the PoE bandwagon because they're disillusioned with the state of D4 after the last seasonal drop. And a lot of them are jumping on to Last Epoch. And the fact that it launches on Wednesday adds two new subclasses, two new classes to the game. So there's content that nobody's really played except the people who were in the beta to help do the testing for it. It's really good. The crafting is really good. The ease of play, the build craft is extraordinarily good. My description for D4 is it's fine. It's not good. It's not bad. It's fine. But we want more from the grandfather franchise of ARPGs than it's just fine. And so far they've had 3 seasons. That's pretty standard in ARPG now. You bring out new stuff every season. You know, like a small mini expansion of new content. And so far, their first one was awful. The second one was okay. I might even go so far as to say pretty good. The third one was even worse than the first. So, a lot of the D4 content makers kind of jumped ship. Guys like Darth Microtransaction and Rax. I can't remember Rax's full name. I've been watching a little of him the last few days. Yeah, it's $35, and that's the entire price. There'll be microtransactions, but they are purely cosmetic. Cast speed and cold damage, no. Stash tabs is an example where PoE gets you. It's a free-to-play game, and stash tabs in this game, you pay for them with in-game gold. I have like 200. I have 2 million in-game gold, and if I wanted to add a new category of stash tabs and add a tab, 90,000 gold. There, I now have it. So I know people have got. I think the cap is 200 tabs, and it all is in-game money. There was a recent video done, why Diablo players, why Diablo players hate Last Epoch, and of course it was sarcastic. But one of the things they talked about was, 5 tabs in Diablo 4, that's enough for anybody. So in this game, a lot more. There are a lot of quality of life stuff. MMOs or games like this much prefer paying more upfront than being nickel and dimed later. Yeah, I can even show you that. Well, first of all, I got a level. So, just real quick to sum up, this is the Sentinel class, and you have a Sentinel spec tree when you hit about level 15, and you have, I think, 20 points in the tree. You'll get to choose a mastery. I chose Void Knight. Most of my points are in there. And now I'm putting some points in Paladin. But I can't spend a whole bunch in Paladin. I can't go past this point. There are 5 classes. Each has 3 masteries. But as an example of the stuff you can spend money on, the shop. So you can buy points. And they don't have much in the way of cosmetics in yet. Presumably a bunch more will be in for launch on Wednesday. This is all they have available right now, and mostly this is, for testing purposes to make sure things actually work. And so once you've spent your $35, unless you're buying a supporter pack or specific cosmetics, you've spent all the money you'll ever have to spend. Maybe at some point they might have an expansion. I don't know. I don't think any are planned. I think they're hoping to be able to make enough money off of micros. But certainly no pay to win. Just pay for cosmetics. So I'm going to do another one of the monoliths. And these are all various types of rewards. They'll describe what they are. This one is gold. That's more crafty bits. That is relics. Down here, if you want a freaking rare spear, you would go that way, and so on. And mind you, this is level 58. Once I finish out the entire chain, I will then be able to choose my next set of monoliths to be level 62 or 68, I think, are the next 2 tiers. And you work your way all the way up to 100. Level 100, and then beyond that, after regular monoliths, there are empowered monoliths and corruption, and so it's a pretty deep system, and you can do a lot of target farming if that's what you're into. Again, this build that I'm playing, I am using somebody else's build. I'm using Ali's Void Knight Auto Bomber build. I have to slay enemies to find the gate, and it is almost a hands-off. It does most of its damage simply by walking through mobs or by using the movement skill to get to them. And the only other thing I do is I can spam one of my other skills to do a direct damage to a mob. So it's a relatively easy, beginner-friendly. When you get to this point, it's a little less beginner-friendly getting to this point, which is about level 35 or so. The mobs I'm fighting now are level 58. I'm 47, I think. So I am well below them, but the build is strong, and so I'm not having any real problem with it. These here are more of the crafting items, and if you click on one of them, it picks up all of them. These are other items that have dropped. The game has a built-in loot filter. It's very easy to set up and use. Really very straightforward and easy to use. Level 48. Grab another shrine. That'll increase my experience. for the rest of this map. Two of my skills are set to autocast. The big purple ball around me is set to autocast, and the little purple balls floating around me are also set to autocast. So that's what makes this a very simple build to play. There are a number of content creators who are putting together build guides and stuff based on what we know about the game. There will be changes coming in tomorrow. We are due for a set of patch notes for the launch. I believe there are 40-something pages of patch notes. We haven't had a significant patch for about 5 months put to the game. Ooh. I should get this character's first purple item. A purple item is one that will have at least one affix that is level 6 or higher. That would be it. And that is a level 6 or a tier 6 ward gained on potion use and chance to cleanse all ailments on potion use. And now we are getting close to the gate that we need to seal. And as a bonus, there's something else down here, which we will get to after we seal the gate. It's the circular glowy thing to my right. All right, we have cleared this out. We click on this and a whole bunch more mobs show up. And we gotta kill waves of mobs here. And then we will open and activate. There is a captive exiled mage in that spherical doodad over there on the side. See, now these mobs are hit point sponges and are significantly higher level than me, and that's why it's taking me that long to burn through them. Good evening. Band of freezing. Okay, so we're going to push the button, and these guys are tough. So this may take me a while. It's even conceivable he could kill me. Probably won't, but conceivable. These guys have their own sets of skills. They hit pretty hard. They usually have transport skills or transit skills. Oh, that was a nice patch of... yeah, he's not having a good day right now, and he's down. We'll open the portal, head back to the little area here. We'll grab our gold. I'm rich. I'm rich. Not really. So, another point here. Plus, 4 of our skills have leveled up. So give me a sec. Smite, level 16. Smite, 16. There we go. 15 for lunge. The cap is 20. But you can get more from items that will allow you to add additional points in. 15 for devouring orb. 15 for Devorb. Where are we? There we are. And 15 for Anomaly. And I do myself no favors when I keep jokingly calling it to myself a monolith, because now I'm tempted to say that every time instead of anomaly. Increase health leech by another 50% per point. So right here, we're getting 1% of all damage we leech for health. It's doubled because all of our damage is void. And here, an additional 50%. So that's how we stay alive. As long as we're hitting something and gaining life, it's going to be tough for anything to get through our defenses. We also have All of our resists are at the cap. This is unusual that at this low level I would have to happen to have managed to get all of my resists over 75%. Various other stats here. These are the base attributes. We want vitality is the biggest one we want because our damage scales off of vitality. These are the various damage statistics. So, for instance, our critical strike chance on spells is 13%, which isn't great. Our defensive numbers. If we are playing minions, our minion numbers, there are a lot of minion builds available. And then other statistics.
Yes.
So I'm just going to quickly buzz through and just sell all this. Except for the purple and the experimental affix. That's the experimental affix. I will throw that into one of my many aforementioned tabs. That's the experimental. This is the purple. And these are really, really important. As along with having a tier 6 ability, one of the strongest things you can do in the game is something that's called legendary potential. And it's a fascinating new system, like something I don't think I've ever seen before in any other game. So there are a lot of uniques in the game, as is tradition for an ARPG. Some of them will drop with what is called legendary potential, and it will say on it, oh, there was one, yeah. Up above on the stats, you'll see it has a little 1 and says legendary potential. What that means is you can take this item and one of the purple items of the same type, so a helmet with a helmet, sword with a sword. There's a dungeon you can run, you defeat the boss, and you take the item with the legendary potential and a purple item with good affixes, and you smash the two together, and the legendary, which may be great on its own, will gain as many affixes as it had legendary potential. And so that is basically just adding an extra stat onto a unique weapon, which maybe is already really good. And so adding complete extra stats can be broken good. For instance, here, this one has, if you can make out the purple on this staff, 343% increased minion spell damage. So if you've got a good item for minions that are casters already, and you happened to slam this together on an item that had legendary potential, that legendary item, which already is really, really strong for your build, suddenly gets an extra 343% increased minion spell damage and becomes stupidly broke. That's sort of one of the most driving end game points, is the ability to take a really good item and make it insane. And now, a legendary potential 1 item will get 1 affix. They go up to 4. Legendary potential 4 is from extremely rare to we will never ever see it on this item degrees of rare. The number of zeros before you can see the percentage. So this is one of the sort of end game drivers, and presumably will be one of the big money makers in the Trade League, because in addition to the Circle of Fortune, where players will be able to play by themselves and get extra loot, there's a note to that in just a second, there's also a Trade League, where you'll work your faction up and you'll be able to sell and buy items from other players. Now, if you're playing that solo self-found form, the Circle of Fortune, you also can, on that same character, play the Merchant League. But what it is some items, maybe even most items, can't cross over. So the items you get in the Merchant League, you can't use, generally speaking, in the Circle of Fortune, and vice versa. So if you've got something nifty in the Circle of Fortune, what you can do, however, is if you play together with another player, over time you will get a what's the word? Not coalescence, I don't think. There's an item you can get that will allow you to trade an item from this person to this person as long as they've played enough together. So that's a way you can move things in a solo self-found environment to your friends. You play with them and you can ship them off an item. Might have to check it out. Only recently got into PC gaming. Still looking for games. Yeah, just on Steam. $35. You can check it out there. And certainly come Wednesday, there'll be a lot of people playing it on Twitch. And there'll be a lot of stuff about it in a lot of the gaming websites and the like. It's a really solid game with some really, really innovative game systems. Let me turn back on my autocasting. There we go. And I'm going to run one more. Let's go here. It is multiplayer. Up to 4 people, I think, can be in a group. And of course, if you're playing with other people and something drops, that can always be traded, regardless of which league you're in. Anyone who is in a group with another player at the time the item drops, you can give them the item. Grab plate armor. Also, I have not set up an item filter, but I will do that next. I'll set up a very simple item filter to basically just remove all white items. So I won't see any white items that are falling. Yes. So it's similar to PoE in that, or I guess D4 as well. If you're in town and any other player is in town, you will see them. So there is shared hubs. Now I'm out in running the end game or primary end game called monoliths. This is the boss for this particular monolith. So this is instanced. Although we could group up and do it together. By default, this is solo. Ooh, drops idols. Nifty. Some of the shrines drop useful stuff. Open the portal. Open this. Get my glyphs. 5 glyphs of hope. Glyphs of hope are very useful indeed. They're used in crafting and are kind of one of the key elements to crafting. PoE is not out yet. The first beta will be later this year, I think September, and it will be a closed beta. That won't be open. Let's see. Shield throw, I don't use. Stun duration, no, I'm good.
Yes.
We're just going to, again, rather than make you guys watch me go through all of my fat loot, I'm just going to sell it. We got another point because we went up another level. All right, we're finished with that. It is a really good time to be an ARPG fan. Us ARPG fans were hoping for D4. I know people love to crap on D4, but realistically, ARPG fans had high hopes for D4. It has largely, although not entirely, been a disappointment. I still expect, over the course of the next year or two, seasons and updates and stuff will improve the game significantly. I don't think it's a lost cause by any means. It is a disappointment, sad to say.
Take care.
She told me to take care. I think she digs me. All right, we will head back to the Divine Era. And we're going to do some more of the storyline stuff. Let's see. We were in Helboria. I cannot do that. Yes, we know you can't do that.
I cannot do that.
I can't do that, guys. I just can't.
I cannot do that.
So many games release unfinished or underwhelming these days. Yeah, absolutely.
I cannot do that.
And that's, I mean, this game was theoretically supposed to be published 3 or 4 years ago, but basically that keeps saying, no, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. And I know it must have disappointed a shitload of people, but I was fine with that. I knew what I was getting into when I bought it. The reason I bought it, I think, for the most part, if you're familiar with the Path of Exile streamer, or primarily Path of Exile streamer, Zizarin, he talked about when they first offered him the opportunity to play the game. And, he said, well, can I be honest about my feedback, or do you want me to, do it with kid gloves? And they told him, oh no, roast us. We need to know what stuff needs to change, what's bad. So yeah, feel free to roast us. I believe roast us was their actual phrasing. And so for me, that immediately sold me on the dev team at least. I checked out the game. The game seemed pretty good. I bought it. I've played it with every major patch since then, and it's improved significantly with every patch since then. Stand down or die. Did I just hit 50? I did. Thing is, I need like 7 more skill points to open up the last skill I need. Deep Harbor.
I cannot do that. I cannot do that.
Okay. I'll turn off the autocasting for now, because... So what we will be putting here when we get there, the 7 means that we start with 7 points. Initially, when you first get skills to specialize in, you get 1 point, and then as you level up, you get additional points. But also over time, it levels up the number of starting points you get, because you can also respec these at any time. You can swap one of these skills out for a new skill, and at least you'll start with 7 points worth to re-level them up. And also, they will level up again much faster than they did initially. The one we are looking for here is Sigils of Hope. Will be the last skill we will skill out. For those of you who haven't seen it, every skill has its own spec tree, and the spec trees allow you to change up the way the spells work in fundamental ways. Change the types of damage they do. Change the targeting. Change the number of missiles. Change it from AoE to cast around you. So you can significantly juggle around the abilities to make the build you want. And this one has been built, this build has been designed to basically keep everything focused around the character and then essentially run through the mobs and they'll fall over dead on their own. So we currently need, I think 7 more points. 7 more points to get us to Sigils of Hope. 6 more points to get us to Sigils of
We
Hope.
have a problem. It is too. Are you in? You did then?
Pardon me?
They're holed up in the pier. If you think you stand
They're
a chance,
holed up in the pier, and now we're going to annihilate them. It will be very interesting to go through the 40 or 50 page patch notes tomorrow. Yep, Helldivers right now is the new hotness. And it looks like a really fun game. But I wouldn't want to play it with 4 randoms. Or I should say 3 random people. I would only want to play it with friends. And certainly it's true that almost any game, if you can play it with friends, it's going to be better. But in that particular game, I would say that play it with friends is necessary. All right, we have now autocasting 2 of our spells on the W and R keys, respectively. Recently getting into this game called Enshrouded. Enshrouded is good. The only thing I didn't like about Enshrouded is I detested the UI. I find the UI to be garbage. The rest of the game is really solid. Now, one of the reasons I find the UI to be so bad is it is a pox upon PC gaming. When things are released for both console and PC, we always get screwed on the UI. It's a sad truth of the PC life. Right now, we just get screwed on the UIs. Yeah, that makes sense that it would be easier with a controller. As, you know, it is, I don't want to say designed for, but primarily, the UI primarily designed for, maybe, would be the right terminology, for console, and therefore for controller. Sadly, I used to be really good with a controller back in the old Sega Genesis days, but yeah, that was back in the mid-17th century. Also, analog controllers, not something... Whoa, he almost killed me. We can't have that, sir. Analog controllers, I simply don't grok them. I understand how they work. I just can't make them work the way I want them to work. It's not fair. I would like to complain. So that was my only problem with Enshrouded. Now, there was another one I was quite interested in. I was going to get the early access to it, but it's releasing Tuesday. And so I wouldn't really be able to devote any time to it. And that is Nightingale. I really like what I've seen of Nightingale, and it's got a lot in common with Enshrouded, I think. They'll keep screaming. So, by launching on Tuesday, though, I won't be buying it at early access, I don't think. Yeah, there is no shortage of good games of late. Now, it's easy. People always seem to overreact to the slate of bad games we get when we get a whole bunch of bad ones in a row. But we get so many games, of course we're going to get a lot of bad ones. There's just no way around that. I need to slay a somebody saboteur. Is that him? That might have been him. Yeah, that was him. They've changed the quest here. There used to be a quest here to, like, free 4 NPCs. Now, as gamers, we complain a lot, and by no means do I exclude myself from that. Holy crap, do I complain a lot. The reason is we want more good games. I, at least, never want a game to outright fail. I would much rather something that I expect to be a piece of crap come out and shock and stun me by being awesome. That would be great. I wish we had more games that surprised me by being good. I mean, I guess Enshrouded is better than I expected.
I cannot do
In fact, Enshrouded was impressive enough that it got me even more enthused for Nightingale until they decided to launch the day before last Epoch.
I cannot do that.
Usually wait for hype phases of games to wear off before consider buying it, because so many games people consume the hell out of and then move on quick. Well, especially streamers.
Do that.
I mean,
I cannot do that.
streaming
Do that.
motivates, is a motivator for the streamers to chase the new hotness. You know, here's the new game. I want to play it because everyone wants to play it now. I've got to get the content in now. I've got to be the first one to do this. I've got to get it done. And time's up. On to the next one. One of the advantages I have being, you know, a clear and vocal player of multiple games, a variety streamer, is that I make no bones about it. Yeah, I'm just going to play what I want to play. Because, I imagine, for instance, if I want to do what was bestest for my stream, I probably wouldn't play Last Epoch on Wednesday because the big streamers in the ARPG space are all going to be playing Last Epoch on Wednesday. I would instead start on Tuesday with Nightingale. The audience, potential audience, is much smaller, but the number of streamers from them to choose from is also going to be much smaller. And so I would probably end up with more streamers following me, watching me for that, than I will for Last Epoch. But I want to play Last Epoch. I want to play it a lot. It's the first time in years I've had a launch boner. Okay? Remember that feeling? There's a new game coming out, and you wait, and you wait, and you start getting amped up, because not only are you amped up, but you're pretty sure this one's actually going to work for you. A launch boner? Yeah, I've got one of those. And it's lasted more than 4 hours, and medical attention doesn't help. Like going to a midnight release, yeah, for either for a new game to pick it up or a movie. Yeah, exactly. You've gotten excited for it, but it's not just the excitement, because we get excited for a lot of crap. But getting excited and being just about certain that you're really going to like it. The only thing I can see happening that would reduce my enjoyment is if the servers are a clusterfuck on Wednesday. Other than that, because I have so many hours already in the game, I know I like it. Throwing attack, fire, time rot duration. Who doesn't like time rot? No, none of those are any good. We'll sell this stuff.
Hello.
Hello. And greetings to you. And welcome. Been playing SSK TJL. Getting some 8, enjoying the hell out of it. It's mindless fun. SSK TJL. I hope that's an acronym, because otherwise it's SSKTJL. Suicide Squad. Yeah, I watched a lot of play. The gameplay looked fun, with one exception, that the mobs, the mob number of types of mobs seemed really small. That was the only thing that didn't look fun. The traversal looked like a blast. The gunplay seemed pretty good, at least. And so it got crapped on because a lot of stuff, I think, got crammed into it because of the live service hooks. And so people came in already, I'm ready, already predisposed to not like it. My expectation, I saw one review recently that gave it a 7. So, I mean, similar to the way I described D4. D4 is fine. It's not good, but it's fine. And I would say from what I watched of Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, it seemed a notch above fine. It seemed okay. Little bland. The enemies mostly because, yeah, the Brainiac enemies. But yeah, it has a few issues. Been pretty fun. Yeah. The thing is they dropped so much money and made such a big deal out of it over time that if it was anything other than really good, people were going to crap on it. That's, well, and kind of the studios have put this on themselves by basically chasing last year's trend. So lately, the last year or so, they've been chasing live service games. And how many shitty MOBAs did they bring out? Chasing the MOBA money. Hate on Glaives, valid or invalid because it's trendy. Yeah, I mean, there certainly is that. But a lot of times it's not even they're hating on the game specifically. They're hating on the studios and the way that they are attempting to sell to us. Chasing the hot stuff. Whether it's, 5 years ago, there was a new MOBA every month. And how many extraction fucking fighters, extraction shooters have you seen in the last year? That's the problem, is that they're trying to sell us a game we already like. Live service games done right are great. I love them. Man, when I first saw Redfall, the ads for Redfall, my immediate reaction was, holy shit, The Division but vampires? I'm there. I want that game. I want The Division but vampires. Only, it was junk. So if you try to cram live service into a game that doesn't really support it, I think you're doing the game a disservice. For instance, would you consider, would Kill the Justice Squad have been a more successful game if they had skipped the live service stuff and just made it a single player game? Maybe with future, $10 DLC. They're always chasing the trend of 3 years ago because it takes 3 years to make a new game at least. So they're always chasing the last trend, and they do it badly. That was why, all of a sudden there were MMOs everywhere. Look at the amount of money freaking Blizzard was making. All of a sudden, everybody was making an MMO because there was so much money. They couldn't not make MMOs. I had to heal. So we crap on the games that don't live up to our hopes and expectations. Yeah, survival games or extraction shooters is the other one right now. Well, I myself, if I have to pick one game, it would be Guild Wars 2. That's my most streamed game. I have 4,000 hours in the game, 600 of it streamed. Gotta say, it's very satisfying when you do a charge into a bunch of mobs, or a lunge into a bunch of mobs, and you get a whole boatload of smite procs like this. It's just really satisfying. Sonically, visually. Who can say no to an earth-shattering kaboom? Like that. So one of the other advantages to playing a very simple and straightforward build like this is I can keep yapping somewhat coherently while picking up my loot. I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh. That guy arrives and goes, rah! Oh! All right. He tasked me, so I shall have him. Hi guys, everyone, how you doing? Nice seeing you here. One of those guys hit pretty hard. I have to fight through the invasion forces. Well, that won't be much of a trial. So I had hoped that on Tuesday I would be able to... He's big. He was big. I would be able to play some more Last Epoch, but I believe they're shutting down the servers for Tuesday. And then bringing them up again Wednesday morning. Alright, I didn't kill all the invasion forces, I guess. No, what they're doing is similar to the way Path of Exile has standard. They're having what's called Legacy. And all of your old characters go into Legacy League. Into Legacy. Basically, you still have access to all your characters. I think they may be clearing out all inventories. All stashes, I mean. Not sure about inventories, but all stashes. And then in the future, when it's a new cycle or league or season, and everyone's rolling up new characters, the ones from the last one will get moved into Legacy. That's my understanding as to how it's going to work.
I see you helped clear out the rabble down here. I think...
Now I need to go back here. So they're not doing a wipe, but they are doing a reset. I mean, I'd be able to play this character on Wednesday, but I wouldn't be playing with everyone else's new characters and new leagues and stuff. Experience Shrine. Let's beat the crap out of some bad guys. Come on, come on. I know you're coming. I know you're coming. Level 51. Area 51. Something like that. For Raya, indeed. Raya's like the bird fire god. Kind of a jerk. I'm not doing an enormous amount of damage to him. I mean, I'm doing some. Got him. Poor little fella. Not really. It gets better when they reset everyone's progress for beta, but that gives the beta people some perk or reward after. Yeah. Well, a game like this, though, because most everybody who's playing it presently is going to be playing, you know, the new league, the new season, the new cycle, as they call it. So in this case, they don't want to sort of take away all of the stuff that people have done. You know, if they've got some particularly awesome rare items and stuff. Well, actually, again, yeah, I'm not sure if what the status is going to be of the stashes. But I know the characters are going to be intact. And there's no real advantage, in my mind anyway, to playing the old characters. I've never gone back to standard in PoE to play any of my old characters. One of the things about ARPGs is they can get stale. And so the way you keep it from getting stale is you add new mechanics and whatnot, new content, every season or league or cycle. And that gives people a reason to restart. And most of the player base will happily take advantage of having a reason to restart. And we're getting basically two new advanced classes on Wednesday. And so a lot of people want to play this. Pretty much, yeah, that's about as close as we... Well, no, I don't think that's the max zoom. I think that's the farthest out I can move. That's the closest in I can get. You know, short of the character selection screen. Okay. And Thetima. Now, we've been to Thetima before, but only in the future.
I cannot do that.
We've only been to Thetima in the Imperial era and Ruined era, I think.
I cannot do that.
And, real quick, let me turn off my autocasting before I drive myself nuts. Short trip. I need 5 more passive points, and that'll open up Sigils of Hope, which is the last skill we need. I'm not sure exactly what we're using that for off the top of my head, because not my build, man. When we get our hands on it. Summons a sigil that orbits you, causing you and your allies attacks and spells to deal additional fire damage and increasing health regen. I think we turn that fire damage into more void damage. So basically it's more passive damage as we run around killing things. And probably some other benefits as well. Welcome to Thetima.
I'm glad you are safe. I see. Did she? That would not be wise.
Have I heard about Skull and Bones? Well, it depends. I mean, I've seen a couple of streamers playing it.
I see her as a friend.
I was watching Shroud playing it the other night, and he was enjoying it. Certainly, there's been a lot of bad press around it. Again, it's another one where they built it up for so long that there was no way they weren't going to get, you know, reamed out.
Greetings.
It also doesn't help that they didn't really describe what it was and that it plays a little bit more like an MMO than not. Let's see. I want to break this down. This one has a +1 to level of rebuke, and so I'm going to hope that when I shatter it, I get that out. We got one of the 2 shards out. Nice. not be picking that one up. It's a pirate game which you can't walk around your own ship. Has cutscenes for boarding. Yes, both of those are true. And no hand in hand. Yep, all three of those are true, and I can understand you not wanting to.
Take care of yourself.
Actually, Shroud was of the opinion that
Gods be with you.
a lot of the stuff that they do allow you, that basically it was always going to be just a sea-based game, and they added the other stuff in. Was his point? Was his belief on it? I think that was Shroud's. I watched a couple of the big streamers playing it. And one of them had the opinion that, they've added the land stuff that you do have, and the boarding was added sort of much later. They decided they had to have that in the game. And adding in a full-blown hand-to-hand combat system type thing was not the game they had built, and they sort of really didn't have the mechanics for putting it in the game. And so they kind of tacked on some stuff to make it feel that way. But that the sea-based exploration and combat was fun, and that's the core of the game. Other people are not so generous. Thought you were too old to play PoE and LE, 59 in 2 months? You're not even close. And I will suggest this is one of the builds you might want to look at if you go for LE. It's Ali's Void Knight Auto Bomber, and mostly it's running through mobs and they just die, and then charging into mobs and they die, and if it's a boss, holding down the right mouse button until they die. You are definitely not too old. You're not even 60 yet. I remember 60. I'm good. I'm fine. I'll tough it out.
Very well.
Yep. I am the old fart gamer.
These waters are deep. I've made my eye.
Hey, it even got me a free subscription.
If you need more time, just say so.
A Twitch sub for Datmods. Datmods, PoE streamer, Lost Ark streamer, D4 streamer. Cool guy and actual badass gamer. He was commenting how he thought he had his high school reunion coming up and was feeling old and wanted to know who the oldest guy in the audience was. So I put in 6'3", return. Oh, magnifying lens. Okay, here's your subscription. And people going, fraud, it's fake, it's fake. I say, check out my streams. And then Mods gives them crap for doubting me. Remember 30? For my 30th birthday, I threw myself a wake. I invited my coworkers to go out. I was going to spring for everything as long as they didn't sing happy birthday and didn't give me any presents. All the booze and food was on me. I got I upgraded from, because I pre-ordered, I bought the early access years ago. And then I got I dropped to the extra, I think it was $30 for the pre-order bonuses for the deluxe, which is not there. It is here. Yeah. So I'll get all of these goodies. That's a couple of portals, a couple of full body transmogs, some pets. Yeah, that goes to, that goes to the YouTubes. The deluxe edition, so I get all of these as well. Yeah, this is the deluxe. It gives you 2 pets, that portal, and this transmog. And then the deluxe, the ultimate edition, gives you the ones on the right side as well. It gives you the flying thing, and then the fox, and that portal, and then this outfit. There are a couple other supporter packs as well. Some of these are other supporter packs purchasable through the game. Your chat not working. Where are these comments coming from? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to work on my readback. I am multi-streaming. This is going to both YouTube and Twitch. The only thing as a couple months ago, they let you multi-stream, but you can't multi-chat. You can't have the chat echo back into Twitch. So I try to do readback so that people know what the hell I'm talking about when I'm talking to a ghost, seemingly. So once you're in game, you'll be able to buy for $20 if you want this, and it includes Epoch points, which is the real money currency. It's a challenge to keep up if you're the kind who wants to read the chats too. One of the advantages to the build I'm using is it's so straightforward that I can pretty much keep up with chat. So this gets you the portal, the bird, and the cloak. This one gets you this portal, bird, and cloak. I am really tempted to get this one because I really, really like the animated portal of the death figure opening up the gate. Oh, it's a challenge for you guys? Well, yes. I try. I try to do the readback. I need to get better at doing the readback. I'm a lot better than I was 3 weeks ago when I started doing this. And then out here is Eternal Legend for more stuff. I'm working on it. I need to do better. But thank you for saying I do all right. See, I did the readback that time. I commented in as a rule, but I actually did the readback. I'm getting better. So these are also currently available in-game, and these will be available presumably on launch day. So for people who want to give more support. And historically, you can see the amount of support PoE players give to PoE by the number of the sets and various microtransactions they buy. You're super interested in this game, but you've got a trip in like 30 days to Adepticon in Chicago. Nice. And last year spent $1,500 between rental car, room, and stuff, so you have to be strong. Understandable. Makes you miss Marvel Heroes. Everything ARPG-wise makes me miss Marvel Heroes. Just so you know, there is a project working on it. I believe it's available on GitHub that basically allows you to run a server locally and run around with the characters and use their abilities, but there's nothing to fight and you can't chat or anything like that. But if you just want to feel the feels, I believe you can do so through an application running locally. This may mean that there is full Marvel Heroes code leaked, in which case we could get an emulator someday. Only saving grace is you have to work, is you're working it this year and getting paid while you're there. Well, that's double fun. Having historically worked a lot of technical conferences, I know those were way more fun to work than to just go to. Should release a second one of the Marvel. Well, the thing is, anything with the Marvel tag on it is going to be a nightmare of contractual obligations and IPs. Marvel pulled the plug on Marvel Heroes simply because it was an additional thing they didn't want to deal with. And that's not uncommon for the big companies. It's also true, by the way, for the Korean gaming companies. If a particular property isn't adding a significantly large number to the bottom line, even if it's profitable, they will sometimes cut it just to simplify things a little. I mean, that's what happened to City of Heroes originally. It was a marginal value. It was profitable, but it was easier for them to just cut it and ignore it. Oh, let me once again turn on my skills that need to be turned on. Which got bought? Marvel Heroes? No, Marvel Heroes got shut down. It may end up running on private servers. Right now, I believe the only place you can access it is City of Heroes. They got it licensed. They worked one of the Homecoming private servers, which I've been playing on for the last month on stream. Wow, they've changed this map up. Interesting. They approached NCSoft, and over the course of about 2.5 or 3 years, they got a license. They are now a officially recognized fan server for City of Heroes with a license and everything, which means they're not breaking any laws, and we're not breaking any laws when we play it. If you're interested, just do a Google for City of Heroes Homecoming. And any of my streams for about the last month. Oh, they've been making content. These guys, the Homecoming team has been making content for it for years. For like 11 years. It was leaked. The code was copied and leaked. Like 11 years ago when they shut it down. Somebody sneaked out a copy of the code. And for 7 years, I twice heard a rumor. Only twice heard a rumor that there was a private server. And I didn't believe it. And then, 4 years ago, turned out it was true. And like a week after we heard that, I was playing the game again for the first time in 7 years. And yeah, they've got 2 new power sets coming. I can even tell you which ones they are. For controllers and dominators, the Arsenal set as a primary. And for dominators only, the Arsenal set as a secondary. So they have been adding new power sets, new archetypes to the game for years. Right, too many people love to shit on NCSoft, and Lord knows I've done a lot of it too. Shit on them, and generally for reasonable reasons. They've treated games under their domain in the past really poorly. But in this case, somebody, somewhere at NCSoft was willing to listen. Somebody was willing to take time, willing to go to legal and get legal to approve it, willing to push it up the food chain, which in Korean gaming, that's a really tough get. So there are people at NCSoft who made this happen too. And it's too easy for too many of us game players to shit on the companies, which we love to do, me more than most. And I have shat upon them in the past. I feel it is incumbent upon me, when I have the opportunity to give them full credit, I try to do so. I am grateful to the people at NCSoft who made it happen. The people at Homecoming who made it happen, and the people at NCSoft who made it happen.
Yes.
Now, NCSoft, please, WildStar, please, WildStar. You know, everyone thinks you've done a really cool thing here by letting City of Heroes private server run. Imagine how much more we would be appreciative if you'd let us play WildStar again. Please, oh please, oh please. No, they're not getting a cut. It's not a profit-making thing. One of the things they have done since it became public was they show their donations and their server expenses every month. Well, it looks like they haven't changed the crappy quest flow for this map. This map series and the quest flow here is the worst thing they've ever added to the game. No, NCSoft's not getting anything because these guys aren't making anything, so there's no money for them to give to NCSoft. No, this is literally NCSoft doing something good for players. That's why I'm giving them credit. Because most game companies, if it's not profitable, they're not interested. No matter how much good publicity might be involved. In this case, it's them. I have received 100 messages today, guys. Thank you. I don't think I get anything from that other than the sure knowledge that you guys are willing to talk. Yay. I'm pleased. Restream informs me when I get 100 messages. And it just did. Damn, you guys are blabby. No, that's a good thing. Yeah, I've received 100 messages in chat. You guys have chatted 100 times today. The collective you. Not you individually, I don't think. Oh, thank you. No, I hold a firm opinion that my streams are more entertaining, and I'm a better streamer when I have an active chat. So thank you, guys. Did I get the eggs? Do I have to find the eggs yet? Did I get the... Don't know if it wants me getting eggs or not yet. Yeah, I have to get eggs. So, I mean, you can also see, since we were talking about this briefly, how easy it is. This build is basically just move around and things mostly die. If they're not dying, I press my right mouse button and they start dying. Like that. Stand down or die. Not you guys. What am I missing? Oh, one of the 3 moon pieces. Now, it took me a while to get the YouTube stream working correctly. But I think it's been a significant win for me to have both YouTube and Twitch. Why isn't that picking up? Why won't you let me pick you up? Why do you hate freedom so? I've got 3 out of 8. It won't let me pick that one up. I don't know why. Till April, you're just going to have to live through this game vicariously through me. Well, that's nice, but don't just me. I mean, I play a couple of hours a night most nights. There are plenty of other really good streamers who are going to be playing this game. A lot. I know because I watch them play other games. But I certainly understand your reasons for it, and it is wise. Your approach is wise. Thank you. Watching me on both, I assume the YouTube's a little behind the Twitch.
Farewell.
Farewell. Let's see. I'm not sure where this takes me. I assume it takes me there. What else am I missing here? Find the moon fragment. I did that. Conquer the fall of the outcast. No, to hell with it. Return to Thethema and inform trade prince. Find the stranded crew. I think that's the other side. Watching me in both locations, that's a little bit mental. But appreciated. I assume that gets counted as 2 viewers. I'm not too proud. Pardon me, I've got crabs. Oh, there's something down here. Gotta say, so far this build has really impressed me. I mean, it looked really simple and straightforward watching the video. Guess what? It is. And it is entertaining build. Getting buffering on the YouTube, yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Again, I haven't watched a bunch of live service on YouTube. They don't make it anywhere near as easy, in my experience anyway, to find stuff and watch and comment and all that stuff as Twitch. That's stuff that seems to me that Twitch does better. Guild Wars 2 I have played in addition to City of Heroes as a good MMO lately. I log into a bunch pretty frequently. I log into Latro once a week. I currently got, I don't know, 10 or 12 installed on my computer, if that counts. What did I miss down there? Well, if you resubbed and you're not playing it, kill the sub. Anytime I'm playing a MMO that requires me to sub, most of the time I immediately unsub right after I sub so that I don't forget. Since I'm streaming on 2 services, which do I find receives you as a streamer better and which is more rewarding either through community or monetarily? So far, the community has been smaller simply because I've been at it longer. So it's smaller on YouTube simply because I've been at it longer on Twitch. So what I have found is when I started, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, I started uploading my Twitch streams to YouTube. And some point in the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, I started to hit the algorithm and started to get more people commenting on my YouTubes, more people watching my YouTubes, more people coming over to Twitch to say, hey, I caught your YouTube and it was really cool. And glad I caught you live. And that was very, very validating, you know, that people were finding it interesting and entertaining enough to join. So I don't really have a good measurement yet on sort of which community is more supportive, because I myself wouldn't really consider myself part of the YouTube community for streaming at large, in that mostly I watch on Twitch. And therefore, the nature of the community on YouTube is a little different. It's just, right now, for me, it's apples and oranges for me right now. I'm sure someone who had been streaming to both for a while would have a significant opinion. For me, it's really quite different between the two. I have a better idea of what to expect from the Twitch community because I've been a member of the Twitch community as a viewer for years. And we are now, what? 4 points from Sigils of Hope. But we got additional points elsewhere. Let's see. 17 in Smite. Barred me again. I have to go to the build. 17 in Smite. 17 in Smite. That's 16. That one next. There. Deep Impact. Smite critical strikes deal more damage. All right. I like more damage. And I cannot lie. Yeah, you're only ever on here. It's I don't imagine there are a whole lot of people who watch live streams in both locations. The only live stream I have with any kind of regularity been able to catch on YouTube is Wooden Potatoes, the Guild Wars 2 streamer. Lunge at 16. Lunge at 16. Uh-huh. And that should be here. I'm invulnerable while lunging. That seems good. Devouring Orb. 16, huh? Devouring Orb. 16. Devouring Orb. 15 and 16. Is that one going to be for the next? Yep. I'm going all the way to 17 for that one. And Anomaly. 15 to 16. 1 second. 15. 16. We're going all the way on that one. All the way there. Your problem is with YouTube is you go to watch a video and end up watching 45 minutes of shorts because squirrel brain. I can understand that. I've managed to avoid all of the various short services, whether it's YouTube Shorts or TikTok.
I have warned you again and again. Yet you persist.
She has warned me again and again.
For Lagon's temple to be your tomb.
I will step into the pool and go swimming. The Temple of Lagon. This is Lagon here. We're going to be fighting him in maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And he is the first real likelihood to kill me. Unless the fight has changed, it's a very challenging fight. Hi, Lagon. Logon. Log off. Hermit crabs, everyone. Hermit crabs. I do not have my goodies autocasting yet. There we go. I'm now actually useful again. Well, as close as I'm going to get anyway. Gonna open? Opens. There we go. Now I'm murdering things again. That's better. Although you'll note, even when I wasn't murdering things, they didn't kill me. That is because I am bad to the bone. Bad. So I will not be streaming tomorrow, as I am running a paper and pencil game, role-playing game for some friends. You know, humans, more or less. And then on Tuesday, because the servers for this game will be down, I'll probably just do a little casual Guild Wars 2 stream. And then Wednesday, well, I expect I will be on at launch time, which I believe is 9 p.m. Sorry, 9 a.m. Pacific. $11 a.m. Central, I believe, is the official start time, so that's the same as 9 a.m. Pacific. Noon Eastern. Like 5 p.m. in the UK. And we will all see if their servers explode. I hope they don't, but I gotta kinda think they're gonna. I mean, everybody's servers explode. It's almost a given. New game? I do my own sound effects. Now, as to how long I will stream for, well, in the past, when it was a Path of Exile league that I was enjoying, for launch weekend, I have done as much as 24 hours of streaming over 3 days. Which for a man my age, you know, if I can maintain for 4 hours, I should probably seek medical attention. So we'll see how I can do with Last Epoch. Oh, that's a dead end. How about this way then? The way that isn't a dead end. That's level 54. Should be over here. We're heading for the little mini boss before we get the big boss. Mini boss can be really annoying too. Not a fan of hers. Mostly because you can't see which corner of the damn room she's in. Let's see, we hit the level. 2 more. And we get our last ability. Yay! There will be much rejoicing. Okay, some rejoicing. Alright. The mini-boss. Haven't been here in a long time. Yeah, cool. The graphics are still nifty. What the bleep? Where's she gone? Alright, she's up in that corner.
You chose this.
Evidently I chose this, guys. It's my fault. She's gone to one of the other corners, that corner.
Lost. These walls will be our doom.
And these walls will be my doom. Okay. Good to know. She's moved over to this corner.
My patience.
She's losing her patience. That's okay. You're now losing your existence.
Lagon.
I'm skipping going through all the loot and stuff. And I haven't set up a... I can show you the loot filter. Let me show you the loot filter. Is it Shift F? Yeah, it is. Okay. Create a filter. Create a new filter. We'll call it Lenses Live Filter. And we'll give it a skull face because skulls are scary. We'll go with purple because all of my stuff is purple. Add a rule. Show. Hide. Add a condition. Rarity. Normal. Update. Yep, that is it. There it is. Now, I will no longer see white items. I'll only see blue, yellow, and uniques and purples. Alright, we're now going to fight the big boss. Him. Lagon. There are 3 phases. There's the first phase where you fight him. Entertain you? Basically, it's going back and forth between the two tentacles, damaging the tentacles, which damages him. I know that if someone were hitting me with horrible beams of magical power right on my tentacles, that's tentacles, I know I would be in pain. Now, one of the bad things about the Void Knights is our only real traversal skill, our movement skill, has to be targeted. Okay, that's the first phase done. Now we have the second phase. So the fact that it is, whoops, targeted makes it difficult to get out of area effects, especially against bosses. Because if there's no place for me to charge to, no mob for me to charge to, I can't get out of the way of area of effect spells. I'm not sure what the defining part of this feature is. Oh, okay, we're back. I'm starting to bore him. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Lagon. Can you ever find it in your icy cold, wet, moist heart to forgive me? Ow. So that can make this difficult because I've got to move back to the middle. To make sure that when he's about to begin at one of his big attacks that can kill, mostly using his eyes, that I can get out of the way fast enough. I have to be able to target a tentacle. Yay! He grows tired of this. Woo! Hey, fat buddy, how you doing? I have... Raya has killed Heorot. One of the gods killed one of the other gods. You know, gods, man. And he's given me his blessing. And there's his loot dropped. Ooh! We got a two-handed staff. I think I've got that one already. That's a unique. The first unique drop you guys will have seen. And back to Thetima we go. Ooh, snap, crackle, and pop. Back crispies. I'm going to stand up before Major Kick shows up.
I cannot do that.
I'm going to run a lap around the chair.
Do that.
Back's been bothering me a little today.
Do that.
Yeah, I know.
I cannot do
There.
that.
I turned off my autocasting.
Gods be with you.
Gods be with me indeed. Some gold, some goodies, you know. Yeah, I didn't walk my laps. I know. I'm a bad monkey.
You're back.
What about it?
Gone.
Yeah, it's a little sore.
Surely next, it will be a long road to Majelka after.
Ah, Majelka. And Majelka is where you will need to get to open up the two new factions that will be arriving on Wednesday. The Circle of Fortune, which is the solo circle, where you'll get all kinds of additions to the loot you get. I mean, significant, large additions to the loot. We didn't want that. Wanted to sell. And the other being the Trade faction, which will allow you to buy and sell items from other players. I'm not sure how good that'll be. Might be good. There's the stash. That's the new category we created. We'll just drop these here. Why not? So this unique item is a two-handed staff. Adds to melee damage and spell damage. Reduces spell amount and cost. Adds 1 to all necrotic spells. 35% to necrotic damage. Hungering Souls, one of the skills. Projectiles are fired in sequence and can all hit the same target but deal 63% less damage. 64 health, 1% of necrotic damage leached as health. Pretty straightforward item. Oof. Run, 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 run. Entering Soreth Ka. I know we'll need to make it here to Majelka to access those new areas. The new mechanics. So this is the first time I've done the previous zone, the sort of water zone with Lagon. First time I've done that in maybe a year. And I've only done this one a couple of times. Speak with Yulia.
How did you enjoy the trip?
Wasn't
Glad to
bad.
hear it. I do not. Unfortunately, there are things I do good. Only as much. It's the thank. They are not. They follow a caste system. I only know.
There you are.
Here I am.
I needed a
Captain Harton. Did you know he hears a who?
Also, there's a shrine just outside the city.
Yeah, sorry about that. There is no bad joke that I won't tell. Ah. Cesar. He's heard of me. Well, you know, who hasn't? Good things, I hope. Yeah, well, blah, blah, blah. Don't know. Are you going to trust the sneaky people? I'm dubious. Pardon the yawn. Been such a rough day. You know what, with waking up, eating, surfing the web, playing some computer games, eating, streaming. That's pretty much it. Stop spitting at me.
Stand down or die.
Yeah, stand down or die, like I said. So I think I have played there are 3 subclasses, 3 masteries to each class, and there are 5 classes. So there's 15 of them. 2 of them have not been available and won't be available until Wednesday. But I'm pretty sure I played all of the others, at least a little. Oh, look, a shiny. Return to Harton. Okay, I'll return to Harton in a bit. Again, I have only done these maps a couple of times, and they may have changed a lot since the couple of times I did them. Basically, because certain parts of the story, you know, you do them, they're not that interesting anymore. So a lot of my characters, when I reached basically where I was to start the evening tonight, around 45 or so, once I got access to all of the idle spots, I would go move on to the to monoliths, simply because that was a little more interesting, better loot, So I've been skipping this area for the last few characters I've done. And I know I'll have to do it on Wednesday, so I want to at least give it a little bit of a look. Got a critter? Anyone else? Who wants some? Come get some. None of them want some. Everybody wants some. How about you? Return to Sarethka and speak with Yulia. Return to Harton and Sarethka. Looks like we should just go back to Sarethka then. And we're off. Just that quick. I am already retired. Yeah, I have been retired
I cannot do that.
11 years now?
I cannot do that. I cannot do that.
Yeah, I can't do that. I know. There we go. I got fortunate with some stock. I set myself a number. If my stock hit that number, I felt I could retire. I live a pretty frugal life. The house is paid off. The car is paid off. And I hit my magic number and retired.
I'll figure out. There's also I'm chief. I also, like I said, it is.
I can't believe the Otsoreth cover one guy. No, don't you worry about me.
I won't. Don't worry. I won't worry. Two-thirds of those things need the age.
Hello.
Yeah, I got lucky.
Stay safe.
There's no doubt about that. I had one stock in a company I worked in spike up to my target to be able to pay off my condo. It hit the target. I paid off my condo. I had some shares left over in another stock. If it hit my target, I'd be able to, retire as long as I'm not, blowing it all on hookers and blackjack. And I hit that target too. I won't tell you about the, and I'm not exaggerating, $25 million I don't have. Chance to cast Smite when I hit with throwing attacks? No.
Can I help you?
Short version, I bought a bunch of stock. It went down. I said, well, if it ever goes back up, I'll sell. It went back up. I sold. Since then, it has split 168 for 1. What'd I get you for your birthday? Fat Body? My abiding love and affection? No. It is about the best I could do. Yeah, I stream for fun. I am lucky. I enjoy streaming. I enjoy chatting. And so streaming for me is fun. If I was in the position of a lot of the young streamers, guys who desperately want to make a living doing it, it would drive me crazy. I would drive myself nuts trying to figure out what I needed to do. In this case, yeah, I don't have to worry about that. Was I supposed to get you something for your birthday, Fat Buddy? Did I forget?
Stay safe, traveler.
Tell you what, you can have one of those 25 million I don't have, Fat Body. You're welcome. You deserve it. Well, I think I'm going to call it an evening here, as we have reached Majelka for now. I think it's the upper city we eventually have to reach. The upper district here come Wednesday to give us access to the Circle of Fortune and the Merchants Guild. So we've almost reached to that spot. Tomorrow I will be taking the day off. I've got friends who need me to run a pencil and paper role-playing game for them. On Tuesday, because the servers will be down, sadly, I'll probably just do a little Guild Wars 2 stream. Maybe a key farm, for those of you who are familiar with Guild Wars 2. And maybe if we get a new box, a new Black Lion chest, I might open up some of those. And then Wednesday, starting 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, and 5 p.m. GMT, if my clocks are right, we'll be playing this here game for serious and for reals for launch day. I'm looking forward to it. I want to thank you guys for hanging out, making this evening additionally entertaining. I am grateful, as always, to you. Not just for showing up, but for chatting, but hey, the lurkers as well, for hanging out. Again, tomorrow I'll be off. I'll be back on Monday. No, sorry. Start again. Tomorrow I'll be off. I'll be back on Tuesday, probably for Guild Wars 2. Wednesday, launch day. Again, I want to thank you guys for hanging out. I hope the rest of your Sunday night goes great. And your upcoming week, well, I like to set an achievable goal for my viewers. I hope your upcoming week doesn't suck. I'll catch you, hopefully, on Tuesday or Wednesday. Anyway, hope you see me soon. Have a great night tonight. Take care and ciao for now.